Good morning and welcome back to Allergic to Stupidity. Today's chit chat, or this time's chit chat, is a little sobering, but hopefully with an upbeat at the end, or maybe a kick in all our butts at the end. People keep saying that don't worry, he won't put the tariffs in. He won't put the tariffs in. He's only playing us. But those people who know him, who've worked with him before, have bluntly said if he says the sky's purple, he honestly believes it's purple. I don't think the man honestly understands how, we're talking Trump obviously, how tariffs work or the effect it's going to have on the general public in anywhere in the country. And he was just at a World Economic Forum where he bluntly said, buy American or get tariffed. And it was like, I literally had to go back and listen to it because I didn't believe that even him, a world leader, would have the nerve to say that. And yet, as I listened to him say, I'm paraphrasing by the way, say that, I thought, yeah, that's Trump. He is my schoolyard bully. And yes, guys, everything relates back to the schoolyard because honestly, to me, the schoolyard is a microcosm of the whole world. If you see it out in the schoolyard, that's what the whole world looks like, except for on a different scale. And he is going to but this is the way it's going to be, and you're going to do it my way. And then the bully gets confused and upset when certain groups of people don't do it his way. Well, Canadians have already stand up going, take a long walk. Even Pierre Poilievre has gone, no, Canada's not becoming a 51st state. Every premier outside of Danielle Smith has gone, we're not retaliating with that way. We need to negotiate. Well, Trump has shown in the past that you can't negotiate with him at all. He doesn't. He has been in court. His businesses have been in court left, right, and center. He's put so many businesses under that I've lost track. Last I heard, it was 9 businesses have gone under because of him. He will sign people up and agree to contracts and then just not pay them and say, take me to court, I'm not paying it. And it was like, are you flipping joking me? So that's his attitude towards interacting with other people. You may like some of his policies, and I don't know his policies because all I get is what all the media shows me. Whether it's Fox News tends to downplay it because they're very, very right wing, and they're very backing Trump. But every other news site has said, yeah, this is what he does. There's people who won't vote for him, not because they don't like Republican policies or his policies, but because they said, you can't believe anything he says. So when he says the tariffs are coming, the tariffs are coming. And he will continue to tariff to the nth degree because he wants, and he's admitted, U.S. is going to come back to becoming the manufacturing center of the world. Pussycat's figuring things out. He has bluntly said, drill, baby, drill. He has an oil line that's going in Canada. Everybody here has gone, no, we don't want to do it because of environmental impacts. The indigenous population is against it. Alberta's semi-against it. BC's against it because it's supposed to go through the mountains to take the oil, the crude oil, out to the Pacific Ocean. And they're all going, if there is a spill, we got a problem because one of our major resources is our natural environment and we're very protective of it. That's Canadian. This is our world. And they're going, if we're going to put the line through, let's us do it because we know we'll do it more environmentally conscious than he will do it. So we can see that this is the way he's going to go. And it's not going to be just 4 years. He will put this in for 4 years. He will not be able to run for president again. But the effects will be felt for decades after because of what he's put in. So, yes, is he going to put the tariffs in? Yes. Are we going to retaliate with tariffs in one way, shape, or form? Yes. Danielle Smith can say her line has been, I'm not going to stop pumping oils to the U.S. Now, she can do that, but if they put tariffs on it, that makes the oils more expensive. He's bluntly said, we don't need Canada. We can do this by ourselves, which makes me think he really doesn't understand what the U.S. has to offer. The infrastructure is not there to put all these great big manufacturing companies back into. Sorry for the pause. The cat needed out. She always wants to start with me, and then she gets a few minutes in and goes, yeah, no, this is boring. I'm leaving. So he doesn't have the infrastructure in the U.S. because the heyday of manufacturing in the U.S. was the 50s, and he's stuck in that. So the U.S. needs us, and people up here keep telling him that, and the officials keep telling him that, and the government points out to him, and he doesn't care. He has his head stuck in what he wants, and he's not going to listen to anybody reasonably. So the tariffs are coming, and then we're going to put tariffs back on their stuff, which means if we want to buy stuff in the U.S., it's going to cost us, because that's how tariffs work. Though he, for some obscure reason, it's like him, last time he was in, that said Mexico was going to pay for the wall, which had everybody just laughing. He thinks we're paying for the tariffs he puts on the products. And in a way, he's right, because while we're not going to pay the money, it's going to cost us because we're going to lose jobs. We're going to lose businesses. So, having said that, what can we do? Well, we can go, okay, this is what's coming. We can accept that that's going to happen. And we can do things that are going to support our Canadian companies and keep our economy going, which is A, if you're buying a vehicle, buy a vehicle that is Canadian built. Unfortunately, if I'm just going to use Ford because it's one everybody knows, if they need parts, well, maybe the parts are made in the U.S. and then they place an order for 100 axles. So they buy those axles from the U.S. manufacturer, which are then shipped up here. Now, as it's coming up, the tariffs we've put on it, if we put tariffs on that, are adding to the price of the car that we're going to buy. But at the same time, he's put a 25% tariff on everything from Canada. That includes steel, and we make steel. So the steel is bought from here, goes down to the American company. There's a 25% increase in cost right there. That company makes the axles, it sends it back. We've put a tariff on it, so there's more. So you can see how this is going to add up and add up and add up. And it's really nice, and please note sarcasm, that you can sit there and say, well, it's your fault. Well, who started it, right? And we as the average citizen can curl up and go, there's nothing I can do about this. Whatever. I can't do anything about it. And as he pardoned, and this is what got this chit chat going, as he pardoned all those people from January the 6th, they went out and interviewed. Multiple journalists went out and interviewed the people. What do you think? And they went, yeah, whatever. Like, it didn't surprise them because he'd been saying it, he would pardon them right from day one. Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. 4 years ago, he would pardon them. These are people that are shown on tape to have literally busted into the Capitol. Like, that to me is beyond comprehension that you would do that. If you think your country's so wonderful, it's like, why are you doing that? People that were charged with assault. They had talked to one of the police officers who is now retired because of post-traumatic stress disorder from that day on the Capitol. And he was tasered by the protesters. And he was punched by the protesters, etc. And the person who was charged in his assault has been pardoned. And he goes, why am I going to believe in the system when I, the victim, just doing my job, gets beaten up, and the guy who did it and is shown to have done it on video camera gets off? He said, yeah, he got charged. It's on his record. But he's now being let out of jail. And it was like, you have to be joking me. This is ridiculous. So you can see why people are going, I can't do anything about it. But what becomes concerning for me, as again, a history buff, that's exactly what the German people did in the 30s. I can't stop the SS, the 30s and the early 40s. I can't stop the SS. I can't stop the Gestapo. So I'm just going to keep my head low and just go on with my life. Because there's nothing I, as the average Joe, can do. And so let's just stick our heads in the sand and go, I can't. So why am I going to bother? We can't do that. We can see what's coming. We can't sit there and say, well, there's nothing I can do about it, because there is something you can do about it. Whether it's climatic change, whether it's housing, whether it's the homeless, whether it's anything, you can do something. Little bits at a time, little tiny bits at a time will make a difference. Think about the pebble you throw in the water, in the pond. At first, it's just a little ripple. It's just a boop, and then the ripples spread, and they go out and out and out. Think of an avalanche in Switzerland. The first little bit of snow starts to tumble down the side of the mountain. And before you know it, all of that snow is coming down. It only takes that pebble. It only takes that one person to make a difference. So what can you and I do? Well, last time I was on, I said, shop at Shell. And the only reason I'm saying Shell is because that was the one I was able to track down and say, yes, it is a 100% Canadian company, and its head offices are, its parent company is in England and in the Netherlands. So I know it's not connected to the U.S. So I'll shop at Shell, outside the fact it's right on my path for where I do everything. That's step one. Step two, times are tough and times are tight. So we are going to all be looking for cheaper ways to buy the stuff we need. Don't go to Dollar Tree. It's an American company. Go to Dollarama. Start it in Quebec. It's 100% Canadian. It's based out of head offices in Montreal now, I believe. If it's not Montreal, it'll be Quebec City, but it is definitely out of Quebec. Yeah, it brings in stuff from China. So what? The enemy right now is Donald Trump. And please, it's not the United States of America. It's Donald Trump. It's that specific person, because he's the one that is pushing all this. And he's the bully. So just like I said eons ago, I've always said to my history students, it wasn't Germany that was the enemy. It was Adolf Hitler and the Nazi Party. Specifically. Right? It's not Russia that's the enemy. It's Putin that's the enemy. So be clear on what the enemy is. So backing up. So what can you and I do? It's don't go, there's nothing I can do about it. Go out and make a difference. Right? Go shop at your local grocery store and make sure you're buying Canadian. And something on Meanwhile in Canada, when they're saying buy Canadian, which that's only logical. She said, but they cook, they make, get the words out, they grow all the vegetables. They don't grow all the vegetables. Newsflash. I go into my Freshco and I walk up and down, and all my bags are from Ontario. Bags of onions are from Ontario. I can buy onions other places, but Ontario grown onions. Well, I buy their onions. My butternut squash, Ontario. My potatoes, Ontario. Yes, are there other places there that are selling not Ontario? Yes, definitely. I'm going down later to buy some stuff to make a fruit salad. I'll just make sure it's not an American company. One of my kids that was down during Christmas, which I just put her back on the plane to go home to her boyfriend, we were going through, and she's like, okay, wait, Mom, that one's Peru, but it's an American company. Okay, don't support it. And she and I took an extra 10 minutes to find those fruits that we want that are not American. You can do it. Does it take? Yes. The other one is, gets to be winter, eat winter vegetables. You don't have to have the celery all the time. You don't have to have those summer vegetables that we're so used to, that we've been spoiled with. Buy Canadian. And if you want something that's not Canadian because you really want that particular thing, like bananas, We don't grow bananas in Canada, don't have the weather. But I find bananas that aren't from the US, which they don't. Pineapples, oranges, yes, go find them where they're growing. They're not growing here, or they're not growing in the US. And if you can't, then just don't buy them. Send the message loud and clear. Make yourself feel good. And get out and vote for those people, because we know in Ontario there's an election coming. They're saying it looks like it's going to be February the 27th. And vote for those MPPs that are going to support what you want. The ones that are going to stand up to what's coming our way. Because we are a big manufacturing province in this country. And if he decides to do what he's saying he's going to do, which looks like it is, I have had it verified, it's 500,000 jobs in Ontario. Most of them down here in Southern Ontario. Because that's where most of the manufacturing is. Right? Great. We already have, 80,000 homeless. That's just increased the number. Okay. So, somber thought? Yes, he's going to do it, guys. That's the reality check. When he gets up on a world stage on the economy and goes buy on U.S. manufactured products or get tariffed, he's dead serious. He's dead serious. So, and since the Republican Party, generally speaking, because there are some that stand up against him, they'll go with him. They'll say whatever. They'll agree with whatever, because he's a bully. Since he's threatened, he's closing down and shutting down various departments. Oh, shoot. Oh, right, he's opening up the files, CIA files, to various murders or assassinations like JFK and Martin Luther King and et cetera, et cetera. And they were like, good, it's time the truth got out. And I was like, you know what? That was 50 years ago. That was 60 years ago. Kennedy was assassinated, first Kennedy assassinated, was in the mid-60s. Guys, that's 60 years ago. Let it die. Sorry for the play on words. But you're not making anything better. You're just going to rip the bandage open and make everybody upset. And most of the people weren't alive back then. Those people that it directly affected have now also passed away, like his wife and his kids. So, what are you going to accomplish by doing that? So, that's a little sidetrack. This is what he's going to do. We know, we can see it's going to happen. All we can do is tighten our belts, figuratively speaking, and support anything that's Canadian or Commonwealth. And that would me, just because that's the way I think, it's support Canadian first, support Commonwealth countries next, and then the rest of the world third. And the U.S. is off my plate right now. 100% off my plate. You want a vacation and you want to get off the continent? Go have a lovely trip to the U.K. Wander through the hills. Get up to Scotland. Go to Ireland. There's so much to see just in the U.K. plus Ireland. Plus, the U.K. has Northern Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and England itself. But don't forget the other Ireland, the Republic of Ireland, because they've got phenomenal stuff. Dublin was wonderful. So there we go. He's going to do what he says he's going to do. We can accept that. We're going to have to. But let's not give up. Let's not say, well, I can't do anything about it. Let's keep the smiley, cheery, upbeat attitude the Canadians are infamous for, and reach our hand out and help people and support our Canadian industries as much as possible and not give up. Take care, guys. See you next time.